Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The playoffs, for all intents and purposes, they begin tonight. Not the actual tournament. The actual tournament doesn't begin tonight. But the play-in begins tonight, which basically sets off the tournament. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about each one of these matchups or potential matchups. And of course, we're going to take a look at the Knicks. But today's show is going to be all about all of the matchups. All right? It's going to be about all of the matchups. Because we have a week-long series dedicated to just the New York Knicks. You know that already. Okay? Tomorrow night, we're going to take a look at the overall matchup with the Hawks. All right? Just an overall look at the two teams and what they did during the season and tell the stories of what they did and how they're going to collide in the first round. The next night, we're going to take a look at lineups. Night after that, we're going to look at strategy. All right, so we got an entire series dedicated to the Knicks and the Hawks first round matchup. But today, we're going to take a look at everything going on in the NBA, including the New York Knicks. All right, and I got Josh with me. I got Big Bubba with me. And we're going to go ahead and break this thing down, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be a fun, super fun playoff season, I think. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting one of the most exciting playoffs in recent history. I think it is. Just because of the way the season went. You know, so many players in and out of the lineups, teams, surprise teams, the New York Knicks, the Phoenix Suns. I just think it's going to be one of the most exciting playoff seasons we've had in a while. And there may even be a surprise champion. Isaiah, what's going on, man? Introduce yourself to everybody. We'll get started.
Hey, what's going on, son? What's going on, Josh? What's going on, chat? Poppin' family, we are here. We here, hashtag we here. I'm excited, man. The Knicks are finally back. It's been a long 8 years. And I do agree with you, son. This is probably going to be one of the most exciting playoffs in a long time. Again, you got the Knicks, you got the Hawks in there, new teams in there. Got this play-in tournament, which is probably going to be the most exciting thing so far, kicking off the playoffs. I mean, you got the Warriors, you got the Lakers, you got all these, teams that people didn't expect to be there that are there. It's truly exciting times, man, and I can't wait. Let's get it started.
Yeah, Josh?
Salute MBK family, salute the chat. Sim, what's going on? Isaiah, what's up? I'm very excited for this playoff season. It's going to be some great basketball that we're going to see. And a lot of questions are definitely going to get answered. It's going to be a lot of good playoff performances starting tonight with the play-in games, and I'm excited. I definitely can't wait to see the Knicks on game one on Sunday. So let's get it. Go Knicks.
Yeah, man. And these play-in games, let me tell you, man, I know there's been some players who've complained about the play-in game. I heard Jeff Van Gundy on TV the other day say that they need some sort of some sort of way to reward teams for doing well or doing better in the regular season. But I think the play-in game kind of accounts for that, right? Because if you have a better record, you get the 7 or 8 seed. The 7 or 8 seed gets 2 chances to make the playoffs. And the better your record, if you have the better record, then you get home court advantage in the play-in tournament. Right? So it accounts for it. Now I think what they're saying, though, is, if you got one team that's, say the number 8 seed is 500, and then number 9 is like, 32 and 50, does that number 9 seed really deserve to be in the play-in tournament? And I can understand that. I can get that. Right? So maybe there does need to be a limit or a cutoff to say, if teams aren't 2 or 3 games apart, then you're not going to be in the play-in tournament. You at least got to be so close. So I can get that. But it's going to be exciting, right? Because I think it allows for a wild card to get in. A team like the Washington Wizards, who in a regular season, they still would have made the 8th seed. But, you know, they were kind of counted out very early in the season. And then they made a run. Why did they make that run? Because you know what? You couldn't count them out. Because they could always get into that 10th seed. And even if they only made the 10th seed or the 9th seed, they still could have been a wild card. I had them, if they made the 10th seed, they got so hot at the end of the season, I had them making the playoffs. Even from the 10th seed. You know, so I think it adds, you know, just a bit of mystery and a bit of optimism for teams. And, you know, just gives you a wild card that can surprise some people. You know, and make something happen and possibly change the trajectory of your organization. You look at the Phoenix Suns, right, going to the bubble. And although they didn't make the playoffs, the fact that they were in the bubble and they played the way that they played in the bubble kind of changed the trajectory and what the front office saw from this team. Say, hey, you know what? If we add someone like a Chris Paul and some other pieces, we might be able to compete. Now they're the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. You know, so I'm excited for this for the play-in, man, and I can't wait for it to get started tonight. If you taking a look at the schedule for the play-in, you see tonight Charlotte and Indiana play at 6:30, about an hour and a half from now. Then you got Washington and Boston. They play at 9 p.m. on TNT. I believe that Washington is going to beat Boston. I believe Washington is going to be in that 7th seed. And then we'll see what happens with Boston from there. Tomorrow night, San Antonio takes on Memphis in Memphis, 7:30 on ESPN. And Golden State takes on Los Angeles Lakers at 10 p.m. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, that Los Angeles Lakers and Golden State Warriors and the Utah Jazz. That's really, really interesting to me. Right? And then on Thursday, the 20th, you have the winner of Game 1 versus the loser of Game 2 at 8 p.m. And then you have the winner of Game 3 versus the loser of Game 4 the winner of Game 1 and the loser of Game 2 is on TNT. And the winner of Game 3 and the loser of Game 4, the time is to be announced, and it's on ESPN. So very, very interesting play-in tournament. Another way for the NBA to create some sort of sponsorship. You see it's sponsored by State Farm, right? So it's another way for the NBA to generate revenue for themselves as well as revenue for the players and coaches and everybody. So I think it's interesting, man. It's going to be fun. Isaiah, your thoughts, man, on the play-in. Your thoughts on the play-in.
We not in it. We not in it.
There you go.
I'm all for it. So, no, listen, it does bring a lot of excitement, right? Because, again, I know that people we all know what LeBron James said and, the Dallas Mavericks said. But I think the play is exciting, man. And I would have been happy if the Knicks were in it, because I think a lot of us thought this season that the Knicks, that was one of our main goals, is to get into the play-in.
Right.
And I would have been totally cool with that because, again, that's still playoff experience and still, working our way towards a goal. But again, we exceeded expectations. And, this is exciting, man. I think the NBA couldn't be more happy having the Lakers versus Warriors as one of the play-in teams. And all these other teams too. You still have the Grizzlies, the Spurs, LaMelo. You got LaMelo Ball and these guys. So it's exciting time, and these are exciting teams. So again, I'm super happy the Knicks can just kick back and they're not relaxing. I can tell you that much. They got a day off or two. Yeah, they got a day off or two maybe, and then they went back to work. They probably took today off, and then they're probably going back to work Wednesday. But listen, man, we can watch these games and enjoy it. But I'm excited for it, man. I'm really happy for these play-ins. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So let's talk about the matchups for a minute, and I want to find out who you guys think are going to make it into the playoffs, and what kind of noise you think they might make. Let's focus on Charlotte and Indiana for right now. Josh, that matchup there, that's tonight at 6:30. Charlotte they suffered some injuries. They were kind of floundering towards the end of the season. Indiana as well. Both teams were very, very up and down. They both started the season well and looked like teams that were going to be very competitive in the Eastern Conference and maybe stay within the top 6 or 7. Well, let me say top 6. Injuries to LaMelo Ball brought Charlotte down. In Indiana, all kinds of stuff going on. Players not liking the coach. Trade rumors on some of their top players. And it looks like in Indiana, things are going to break down after this season. Especially now that they fell into the play-in, because this is a team that most people thought was going to be in the playoffs, maybe even top 4 in the Eastern Conference with the Indiana Pacers. Very disappointing season for the Pacers. What's your outlook on that matchup tonight?
So, just to go along with everything you're saying, and overall, as far as the playing games are concerned, jobs are on the line. Jobs are really, really on the line. If you think about these 4 playing game matchups that we have today and tomorrow, these coaches and some of these front office guys are basically, they're out there. So I definitely expect it to be a competitive game, both games to be competitive tonight, specifically with Indiana versus Charlotte. Karis LeVert's been playing really well since he came back from his cancer diagnosis or whatever the case may be. He's been playing really well. So this might be a coming out party for him going against Charlotte. And this is the first taste, I guess, a little taste of playoff experience for LaMelo Ball to show what he's really about and to lead his team to a victory. So I think it's going to be really, really competitive. I believe both of these coaches, both coach of Charlotte and Indiana's coach are, basically, coaching for their jobs tonight. I know that one is the 9-10 matchup, I believe. So I think the losing coach definitely loses their job tonight. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a 9-10 matchup. The losing team is eliminated from any kind of playoff contention. And, I mean, you could be right. The losing coach maybe loses their job, because both teams have been better in recent years. Actually, I don't know what Charlotte would. No, not Charlotte. Charlotte actually got better, so I don't know about Charlotte. Right?
No, because the reason why I say that is because, you're bringing in LaMelo Ball. There's a lot of hype coming around in the Charlotte area. I believe that Michael Jordan and Mitch Kupchak might want to start fresh and bring in their new coach, possibly a big name to come in there to try to, make sure they keep all their ducks in a row. So that's the reason why I mentioned Charlotte. I'm not saying it's because of their expectations or anything like that, but definitely as far as them having young talent in that roster, PJ Washington and Bridges, I think definitely that organization is going to want to look to bring in a big name to get them to the next level.
We'll see. Listen, I would like for them. Not that I'm, a fan of Borrego or anything like Borrego, but they started with him with these young guys. He's a young coach, smart guy, up and coming. He has the team playing hard. They did suffer some injuries. I think he would deserve at least another season. I don't know what his contract is like, but give him another season with these guys when the team hopefully can stay healthy. You don't have the type of conditions that they had this year with the coronavirus and all that kind of stuff, and see what he can do. Because, for all intents and purposes, everybody kind of looks at him as a pretty good coach. So we'll see how that goes. Isaiah, what's your thoughts on this game between the Hornets and the Pacers tonight?
Well, I know LeVert's out for the Pacers, so that's going to be very huge.
Wow.
So that is going to be. I have the Hornets winning. It's an interesting matchup, man, because like you said, the Pacers have been very disappointing this year. There's a lot of stuff that's went wrong with them, and they're most likely going to fight. If they lose, I think they're going to most likely fire the coach because, again, right, this is the same organization that fired Nate McMillan, and Nate McMillan got the Hawks the 5th seed and against the Knicks, and you got this team playing against in the play-in. So I think somebody's definitely might be going to get fired. I think the Hornets are going to be fine with their coach. I think the coach probably going to be satisfied. They're probably going to be satisfied. Jordan and them are going to be satisfied with the coaching staff with the Hornets. I think a lot of that also too. The reason why they probably lost a little bit more was because Gordon Hayward was out, and I think this was a big thing about. We can go back earlier. We can go back before the season because I remember that a lot of us here because I wanted Gordon Hayward. I thought Gordon Hayward would be really good for the Knicks. But again, right, paying that dude 100 and something, almost $140 million, and he's injured. This is looking like typical Gordon Hayward. But it's going to be a good matchup, man. I really think LaMelo Ball is going to have a good game today. I think Che Rozier and all those dudes are going to be good. I think the Pacers are going to. I think the Hornets are going to win. So it's an interesting matchup, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
To feed off what Isaiah was saying about Nate McMillan, I think that's the precedent, right? I think that's the precedent. Nate McMillan was doing a phenomenal job in Indiana before he got the axe. I know they got swept in that first round series, but they were really, really competitive that season. And he lost a lot of key players that season. Nate McMillan did, and he still got the axe. So I think as far as this matchup is concerned tonight, I think both the organizations want some type of spark in their organization. And, what a better way to do that than to bring in a coach that, has some playoff pedigree, some experience maybe. I don't know who's going to be out there. But that's one way to
maybe Mark Jackson.
Maybe Mark Jackson.
Hey, you never, maybe. Who else? You're right. Who else is out there right now? I'm sure they can, look and maybe find somebody and try to pick somebody off of someone's bench, but realistically speaking, who's out there? There's not a lot of people out there right now.
Not really. Everybody's pretty much.
When you talk about, these a big name coach. I don't know who's out there. Mark Jackson.
I think Mark Jackson.
Jeff Van Gundy.
Again, right?
Jeff Van Gundy.
I don't know if he does. I don't know if he goes to Indiana, man. I don't. That'd be interesting.
Sam Cassell?
Yeah, Sam. I'll be honest with you. I think Sam Cassell is very long overdue for being a head coach. I think he should definitely be a head coach. I can see a Sam Cassell, maybe Mark Jackson, one of those guys.
Or some other player that used to play that we don't know about. Steve Nash got hired out the blue. No one expected Steve Nash to get any job or that he was even interested in coaching, and he got the job in Brooklyn. So you just never know. But I do fully expect one of these coaches or one of these teams to make a move to try to invigorate the fan base a little bit, make it a little surprising.
Okay. Let me get a couple of predictions from you. Listen. It's easy to make predictions about other teams. We're not making predictions about the Knicks now, so we can go ahead and predict all we want and not care if we, were right or wrong. Right? Looking at tonight, I want to know, what do you think for Charlotte? We'll start with Charlotte. What do you think LaMelo Ball does? Right? His first taste of any kind of playoff scenario. What do you think LaMelo Ball does tonight?
Want to go, Josh, or want me to go?
You can go ahead.
I think, I think LaMelo Ball is going to show what he does and what he usually does. I think LaMelo Ball is probably going to go for, I'm going to say 22, 7, and 6. I think he's going to do that.
You said 22, 7, and 6. He's got to stay on the floor. He's got to play that defense to stay on the floor.
That's his issue.
You know what I mean? Against the Knicks, he didn't play down the stretch because of his defense. Got to stay on the floor. But, still, he's 19 years old? He's got a lot of time to go. He's got a lot of time to go. A lot of time to go. Josh, LaMelo Ball, what do you think he does tonight?
I'm going to say 12, 14, and 6. 12, 14, and 6.
14 what?
I don't expect... Huh?
14 what?
14 what?
Assists. 14 assists. Yeah, I'm going to say 12, 14 assists. Listen, this kid is big time. Okay, this guy's been playing in big games his entire, he's big time. He's ready for the big stage. That's why I was kind of, I was like, well, what are Knicks fans talking about? We don't want LaMelo Ball. He's going to come here. His dad's going to get in the way. No, this kid is the real deal, and we've seen what he's about. We know LaMelo Ball can.
I always wanted LaMelo Ball. I wanted
flat out play basketball, and he's just a wizard with the basketball. 6'7". I expect him to show up tonight. I don't expect him to put the ball in the hole that much. But as far as getting his teammates involved, I fully expect him to do that. And the Pacers are out there got Karis LeVert, so I think this.
14 assists. If he dropped 14 assists, man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be mad we didn't trade Mitchell Robinson.
12, 14, and 6. You heard it here on MBK. You heard it right here. You know what I'm saying? So.
What about Scary Terry? He's been there before. He's been in playoff situations.
Yeah, Scary Terry. So I said LaMelo's going to have 22. So if LaMelo's going to have 22, so I'm going to go for Scary I'm gonna go 26. I'm gonna go 26, 5-3.
26, 5-3. Okay. All right. If they lose, is he still in Charlotte at the end of the season? Well, not
last year?
No, I'm talking about Terry. Scary Terry. If they lose, do they trade him? Do they move him? And, to make room for Lonzo Ball or do they continue to try to build with him there?
Man, that's very, very interesting. Because it's Michael Jordan, I'm gonna say yes. Because it's Michael Jordan,
you're gonna say yes. What?
He's gonna stay. I think he's gonna stay because I think they're probably gonna try to improve the roster more. I think Devontae Graham's leaving. I think Devontae Graham's leaving, and they're gonna probably keep Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball next to each other. So I think I think he's gonna stay.
Okay. All right. Who do you predict is gonna win?
Oh, I'm going with the Hornets.
You're going with the Hornets.
Charlotte by 12.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the other game that we're having tonight. You have the Washington Wizards going to Boston. And this is going to be a really good basketball game.
Yeah,
two opposite teams. One is defensive oriented, one is offensively magnificent. You got, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, 2 stars. The Boston Celtics are missing a star. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. I feel like the Washington Wizards are, on a mission to get into the playoffs. And Russell Westbrook is a motivated guy. And I'm finding it hard that the Boston Celtics will beat the Washington Wizards right now because the Celtics just don't look like they have it. Although the Celtics won the season series, obviously that doesn't mean anything. January 8th, the Celtics beat the Wizards 116-107. The Wizards were 2-7 at the time. The Wizards beat the Celtics on February 14th, 104-91. And then the Celtics beat the Wizards on February 28th, 111-110. I don't know how much you can really take from those matchups because both teams have dealt with so many injuries throughout the season. It's hard to say how they really and truly match up. And now, of course, the Celtics are down. Jaylen Brown was out for the season. Initial take on this matchup, Josh.
Hey, my man Russell Westbrook is a problem. He is a beast. And whoever out there disrespecting that man, you need to quit disrespecting that man. That man is no joke. He's a proven performer. When the games are big, Russell Westbrook, he's going to be right there. You know what I'm saying? He always is always going to give his 115% or 120% every single game. Doesn't matter if his team is losing. Doesn't matter if his team is winning. And I just think the Wizards have way too much firepower right now for this matchup. The Celtics are reeling. They have lost one of their big guns in Jaylen Brown. And quite frankly, I just don't think the Celtics have a good enough roster to win this game. I like their camaraderie. I like the fact that Brad Stevens has them playing hard, but he's another coach that I feel like is fighting for his job. I think this is a big game for Brad Stevens tonight. He can't afford to lose this game. So I definitely expect the Wizards to come out and win this ball game, and Russell Westbrook is going to put up a triple-double. You can book that.
I think Brad Stevens is definitely fighting for his job, man. The Celtics have, they're knocking on the door, but they can never kick it in. And it seems like this is the season that it's just not, this is the season that maybe they break down. I don't know. Do they look to move players? Do they try to get better? It seems like they're kind of stuck in that place where they don't know where to go or how to get better or what to do. They have a young roster still. So I don't think that you can't give up on it because you still have a young roster. You still have two young guys to build around in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So you can't give up on the roster. The only thing you can do is bring in a new coach that can try to get the best out of this roster and take him over the top. A very disappointing season for the Celtics. They got to do something. Kemba Walker just doesn't get it for him. You know, last year there was a lot of talk. Oh, you know, they moved, or Kyrie left and Kemba came in, and the team got better, which they did. But he doesn't get it for him. He doesn't get it for him. They need to do something at that point guard spot too. Isaiah?
So glad you guys said that, because reportedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but I seen that Rose has tweeted out that Brad Stevens' job is not on the line.
Okay.
From what the reports say, is not on the line, which we all know that could mean it could be on the line. We hear this a lot before coaches get fired, but we'll see about that. Again, I think the Celtics, everybody all can universally agree the Celtics have been very disappointing this season. Kemba just hasn't been it. You know, Jason Tatum and Brown are, of course, they're still young. One's 22. I think the other one's 24 or something like that. So they still have time. They've just been really disappointed, man. They have a very young roster. You know, they got a lot of decisions to be made. I think it also starts at top. I think it also starts with the what's his name, Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge.
Yeah, he's another
starts with
one.
Danny Ainge, man. Because I think these last couple of years, I don't want to say he's gotten exposed, but I don't think a lot of players want to play for him. Especially ever since that started with the Isaiah Thomas thing. And you heard Anthony Davis' dad. You heard Anthony Davis himself say, "You can trade for me, but I'm not going to stay with you guys." You heard a lot of these players say they're not going to play for this man just because the way he treats these players. So again, I think it probably starts up top with Danny Ainge. But I mean, as far as the game tonight, I think the Wizards are going to win. They're coming in hot. They've been playing They've been playing great, and they're up there with the Knicks these last couple of months. They're playing great basketball. You know, they started off very, very slow in the beginning, but you know, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal turning on. I'm expecting a big game from Bradley Beal. I think I think it's not even going to be a contest. I think the Pacers Hornets game is going to be more competitive than the Celtics game. I just think that right now, I think the Celtics are, I don't want to say they're checked out, but listen, it's looking like 1-2-3 Cancun right now around Boston. So I think the Wizards are going to win.
They're heading up to Martha's Vineyard. They're not going to Cancun.
They're going to Martha's Vineyard. You know what I'm saying? Simple something. But I think the Wizards are definitely more locked in. You got one of the the second best scorer in the league, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. I think they're going to kill him. I really, really do. I don't think it's going to be close.
Wow. I mean, we'll see. This team, the Boston Celtics, although they haven't been playing well this season, they do look like they're reeling. They do have that playoff experience. Do they have the ability to just turn it on? We don't know. But they have some playoff experience on the team. They have guys that's been there. Brad Stevens been there with the guys. So maybe they, I don't want to use the term turn it on. You know what I'm saying? But maybe they'll be able to, pull it out, start to pull themselves out of whatever funk they've been in, and maybe they do it just in time. I don't know. I mean, look, they've been up and down the entire season. But let's talk about the Wizards for a minute, because if they win this matchup, they win this game, they play Brooklyn. Okay?
Oh, yeah, you're going to love this one.
Right? And I just want to say to Kevin Durant, if anyone is listening who knows Kevin Durant or is buddies with Kevin Durant, you're a cornball. It's a straight up cornball, man. Yeah, Josh, I'm saying it. I don't care if he hears it. Doesn't matter to me. He's a cornball. So
he's gonna be on Twitter.
He probably is. You seen the interview that he did the other day, right? Where they asked him about the big three. Do you feel like the big three, this, that, and this, and that? And he said, I feel like we got a big 15. So he's straight up just trolling the Knicks. He's a cornball, man. He's a cornball. That's what I'm saying.
You know what's funny about him, Sam? That makes him the biggest cornball is because it's like, I don't care what nobody says, and people can disagree with me when I'm about to say. KD wanted to go to the Knicks. I really, really believe that. He wanted to go to the Knicks. And, you know, I guess the injury did play a big part in that, and he chose Brooklyn. And you know what? He's mad, Sam, because, again, right, the New York Knicks, the 41-31, don't have the big superstars and the big names, is getting more attention than this dude. And the Nets, he's mad because, bro, like, you mad because this will always be in Knicks town. Listen, when you go to a Knicks game, you see the Knicks jersey. What does it say, Tim? On the chest of the jersey.
It says New York.
And what did it say on the chest?
It says New York.
The chest on the Nets. What does it say?
It says Brooklyn.
No disrespect to Brooklyn. Listen, we all love Brooklyn. Shout out to Gamble, shout out to Biggie. But nobody cares about the Nets.
Well, first of all, but let me just stop you. Don't put Guillermo and Biggie in the same conversation. Go ahead. Don't do that. Don't put Guillermo and Biggie in the same conversation.
I got you, Guillermo. You're the second important person from Brooklyn, Guillermo. Don't let these haters hate.
You can't do that.
Nah, but Sim, man, it's corny, and he knows what he's doing. Like, the Big 15, come on. Randall, Reggie said that, and that's one of our mantras. Everybody knows it's Knicks tape. We hear Big 15. So, again, right, he's just mad because there's no culture there. I get it. They got the talent, all this, blah, blah, blah. There's no culture. Everybody knows when the Knicks win. It's different. Do you see the videos of fans jumping out of MSG when we win a game? You see, like, come on now. And then you see, when the Nets win, it's yay, you know, good job. They use the artificial noise and
But
you know,
anyway, I just wanted to say that, man. Tell me, if the Washington Wizards face the Brooklyn Nets, how much of a chance do you give them? Go ahead. I'm gonna start with you real quick, Isaiah. How much of a chance do you give them?
Okay, now let's be realistic. Now they got a 2% chance. Well, hold on, son. If all three of them play, it's a 0% chance. Two of them play, they got about a 5 to 10% chance to win.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying they've seemed to be a matchup problem this season with the Nets.
Wait, what's the head on? Well, the head on him doesn't count really. It doesn't matter anymore.
It does. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. The Wizards won the matchup.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, it's the only thing that you have to go by, right? It's really the only thing you have to go by. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. And I said it before. Russell Westbrook is looking over there at James Harden and KD, and he's going to be on his get-backs. And you just never know, man. He is going to be on his get-backs. He is going to try to put Washington on his back.
That's fine. I mean, but come on.
I know the kind of talent. I know the kind of talent that Brooklyn has. Trust me, I get it. Right? I get it. But still, they don't play a lot of defense either. The Brooklyn Nets don't play a lot of defense. And
this might be the first playoff game to go to like 150 each.
Yeah, right, exactly. So tell me, who has a better defense out of the two? I don't know. I have to look and see. But who's stopping who? And when it comes down to okay, who's going to get a bucket for each team? Russell Westbrook can get a bucket. Bradley Beal can get a bucket. It can be tough. Go ahead, Josh. I see you grinning and smiling.
Well, first things first. I don't agree that Kevin Durant is a cornball. I won't dare disrespect him like that because that dude can drop 35 easy on anybody.
Listen, I know he can score. I know he can score a bucket.
Oh, let me finish.
All right.
The reason why I bring that up right now is because if the Knicks play Kevin Durant in the playoff series, and I'm not even talking about Harden and Kyrie, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just out of this world. If KD sniffs blood, that dude's a killer. That dude is a straight up killer. I would not even dare disrespect KD, and I wouldn't even do all that. You know what I'm saying? So, but as far as your question about do I give the Wizards a chance?
Let me just say one more thing to that, and then I'll let you go. If KD is basing his motivation off of me, a YouTuber who calls him a cornball, then he's even more of a cornball. Let me say that. So
he's double the cornball.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about all of that. I just know that dude. I would never disrespect that dude because that dude is a straight up. He's probably, I would say, top 2 most talented basketball players I've ever seen. From my own 2 eyes.
Me too.
I would not even disrespect that. You know what I'm saying?
But John,
to answer the
you can still be one of the greatest scorers and be a cornball. Don't get that mistaken. Like, you can't be a cornball. Don't get that wrong.
I don't know what a cornball means. All I know is that dude has 2 NBA Finals MVPs, and we only have 2 championships in the history of our franchise.
Josh, you know what a cornball is, Josh. You know what a cornball is.
I'm just saying.
If the cornball got the trophy at the end of the season, then I want the cornball on my team. You know what I'm
just saying. You know, he's still a cornball. He can score all the points you want. He could be the nicest player ever. He might be. Yeah, listen, KD is super nice. He's super nice. But I'm calling him a cornball for saying that.
Sam, watch after his first playoff game interview. Yo, man, these dudes out here calling me cornballs. I dropped 50.
Right. So to answer your question about the Wizards, I definitely give them definitely a chance to win this, playoff, not the playoff series, but I definitely give them a chance to be competitive. They got Russell Westbrook, former MVP. They got Bradley Beal, who's also a killer. So they're always going to be in it. But if those 3 guys over there in Brooklyn are healthy, man, I don't know who. It's going to be really, really tough to see any team beating them. I think the Knicks will definitely give them a run for their money. But with those guys healthy, it's just unprecedented what those guys can do. I don't think the Wizards are really going to win that series. They'll fight. Westbrook is going to get his triple-double. Bradley Beal's going to put up his 30. But that second player that I was talking about, KD is probably the most talented person I've ever seen. Kyrie's probably number 2. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, I hear you. And listen, I'm the same way. Most likely, the Brooklyn Nets are gonna, do away with them. But it could get interesting. Let me say that. It could get interesting. Let me get to a super chat here, and then get to let me get to a super chat and get to the phone call.
Josh, they calling you a cornball. You gotta relax.
Let me get to a super chat, and then I'll get to a phone call.
Oh,
Chris, thank you for the super chat, Chris. She said, how perfect is it for Russ to meet these guys and possibly disrupt their chances? I'm betting on Russ. It is perfect. It is the perfect scenario for Russell Westbrook. The perfect scenario. Everyone's counted. I don't want to say everyone's counting him out, but a lot of people counted him out early in the season and all of this. Now he gets a chance to go face off against these 2 guys who, couldn't make it work with and have a chance to knock them out. This is perfect for Russell Westbrook. Perfect. So I'm really interested to see that matchup if and when it happens. Caller, you're live. What's popping, man? How you feeling?
Good. How you doing, fellas?
Good, man. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. Living good, feeling good. How about you?
Same here. I'm happy to see that you're going to have multiple shows this week. I spent a lot of time out on the road, and I'm looking forward to this game on Sunday. And I'm happy that you're going to be doing, 4 shows?
Yeah. We got a few shows coming up. So, we got one tomorrow night, Thursday, Friday, and I'll probably do one on Saturday.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun.
For tonight, I agree everything what you're saying about the Wizards. I want to see them win. Normally in the playoffs, I'm rooting for the worst team, right? Because I want to see the underdog win. It kind of makes your team have a better chance. But for these play-ins, I want to see the better teams win. So they might be able to knock off. I mean, even if one of the Sixers or the Nets miraculously is knocked off, that helps the Knicks going forward,
Yeah.
I don't see it happening, but I'd love to see the Wizards versus Brooklyn.
Yeah. Me too. I would love to. And you know what? Take them 7. I mean, we would have to play the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round.
Right.
So we wouldn't see the Nets until the Eastern Conference Finals. But hey, just in case, put them through the ringer. Put them through the ringer. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I don't know who would do better against Philly. Either I think the Charlotte Hornets could probably do some, work on them, but I think maybe Boston, just from their playoff experience, Boston versus Philly would be a better 1-8.
Yeah, that might be true. That might be really true. Boston versus Philly, because Boston's kind of been there and been around and been in some battles. Either way, I don't think Philly's definitely not going out in the first round. And then if we meet them in the second round, I'm not betting against us. No matter what I feel, I'm not betting against us. So, yeah. Hey, I appreciate the time. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, not to bring up bad juju, but something about the Knicks. Did you guys see? I've called in a lot defending Elfrid Payton this season, but did you see that clip of him while they're on offense with his hands on his hips?
I didn't see the clip, but
I'll email it to you. I think it's something that's got to be discussed. It's ridiculous.
Send it to me.
He's looking into the stands.
Send it to me when we get to.
We'll do.
On Thursday, we're talking about lineups.
All right, we'll do.
So we'll be breaking down. It'll probably be a 2-hour show. We're gonna be breaking down all the different kind of lineups the Knicks could, should, might use. So
all right, sounds good.
All right, appreciate you, my man.
Hey,
peace.
Hey, Sim, can I say one thing, Sim?
Hold on, let me get to the super chat here. One more super chat from Chris. Thank you, I appreciate you. She said, salute to the panel. Teams may be trolling, but they got to play us straight up. Exactly. So go ahead, Cornball KD. That's what I'm calling him. It's my nickname, Cornball KD.
I like it. Oh, man. So, listen, he I can't wait for Twitter. Man. He going to be on Twitter. He going to find you, too, Sim. He going to find you.
He ain't going to find this jump. He ain't finding it. I ain't worried about it.
Two things. We have 366 people, but we only have 83 likes. Come on, people. Get them likes up. Can we get to 250 in a couple of minutes? Let's do that. And Sim, I'm saying it right now, Sim. You listening? Thursday is gonna be fireworks in this panel.
It's not.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
I have a plan. I have a plan, and we're gonna follow the plan.
It's gonna be hot.
So let's move on. Just like I just followed my plan, we're going to follow the plan. Let's move on, because I don't have a whole lot of time. I got a lot of stuff going on right now. I got to worry about the lineups on my basketball team.
He got to worry about who his point guard is going to be.
That's exactly. I really, really do. I'm going to tell you that right now.
We'll take up for paying.
So I don't have time for numb nuts. Like you.
Hey, just at me, man.
Anyway.
I'm not KD.
Anyway, the next, this is not, of course, tonight's matchup, tomorrow night, and it says Tuesday on there. You can forget about that. That's tomorrow night, Wednesday. The Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. Right, that's going to be, listen, the Spurs. In a normal season, this would have been another season that they didn't make the playoffs, but they made the play-in. Okay. The Memphis Grizzlies are much better. I think they're much better than the San Antonio Spurs. Now, obviously, when you're talking about the Spurs, you can't count them out because it's, I was about to say Tom Thibodeau, because of Greg Popovich. So you really can't count them out. But I think the Memphis Grizzlies are much better than the Spurs. I just think it's going to be I think it might be an easy matchup. I think the Memphis Grizzlies get that game, and I don't even know if it's going to be. I guess it's probably going to be tough, but I'm just going with the Spurs. I just don't. I don't know this. The Spurs don't have. I know they blew us out the first time we played them, but I don't feel like the Spurs have a threat that scares you out there on the floor. I'm not afraid of DeMar DeRozan. I'm not. I see you looking like that, Josh. I'm not afraid of DeMar DeRozan. I mean, he gets his buckets, but I'm not like, oh, God, DeMar DeRozan is going to kill me. He's going to kill the squad tonight. You know what I'm saying? He's going to kill us. I'm not really afraid of DeMar DeRozan like that. So I just don't know. I mean, I guess what you would fear with San Antonio is the overall team play. Now, if they won, they win. But I don't know. I don't think that they're going to be DeJounte Murray. I'm sorry. I don't want to forget about him. He is a guy that can come at you. DeJounte Murray. Should have mentioned him. For me, he's the only guy. I'm not afraid of the. I don't know. I'm just not afraid of DeMar DeRozan. DeJounte Murray, though, he could be lightning. I mean, he can like strike and bomb. You know what I mean? So he's a guy that I would worry about. He'll be facing off against Ja Morant, so that's going to be a nice point guard matchup here in the play-in. I'm still giving it to Memphis Grizzlies. I think their defense is much better. They have a guy that I think they have more depth, more talent. They're younger. They have more energy. They're bouncier. I really don't see it being that much of a matchup between these two. In my opinion, I think Memphis is going to take this one easy.
Yeah, this one's a very interesting one because they kind of got two different styles. Like coaching-wise, you got to give it to Pop all the time. But I'm kind of torn, Sim, because I'm like, I'm kind of with you with DeMar, even though he almost came back on us when we that last game. He almost.
I wasn't worried about DeMar, man. I'm worried about DeMar.
No, but I'm probably gonna go with the Grizzlies too, just because you got Ja, you got Triple J, you got Dylan Brooks, you got Kyle Anderson, you got Valanciunas. I think they have the more talented squad. I think they've been playing better overall. Yeah, I think it's going to be close. This one's going to be close, though. I think this is going to go to overtime, and the Grizzlies are going to pull out in overtime.
Okay, all right. Josh,
I'm going San Antonio. I think San Antonio has the advantage with coaching. I believe they have more proven guys who've been there before, who've been in these tough situations before. DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gay still on that roster. DeJounte Murray, he's a dog. You know what I'm saying? Can't forget about him. And I definitely think they have the advantage when it comes to coaching. And I think in the playoffs, the coaching matters. I think as far as Memphis is concerned, all their guys are young. Ja Morant's really not ready for the big time, in my opinion. He's not ready yet. Just the same thing I said about RJ. He's not ready for the big time yet. I say the same thing about Ja Morant. So I'm definitely going to go with San Antonio. And please don't sleep on DeMar DeRozan. That dude is a bucket. He can go out and get it for you. That's why I would like to have him on this team next year. But that's a different conversation.
I wouldn't, but I'm just not a fan of DeMar DeRozan. I don't know. I'm just not a fan, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan.
Because he can't shoot lights out. Is that what it is? Because he can't.
No, I just never liked DeMar DeRozan. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. He just never felt relevant to me.
Yeah,
I mean, even though he puts up buckets and he can score and stuff like that, just never felt relevant to me. Never felt like a guy that I could depend on. Not as a star player, a bench player maybe, or let me not say it that way, but like a role player. Yeah, I'm just not convinced with him. The season matchup, the Spurs.
I'm not taking that dude. I don't want that dude on my team.
December 23rd, the Spurs beat the Grizzlies 131-119. On January 30th, the Grizzlies beat the Spurs 129-112. On February 1st, the Grizzlies beat the Spurs 133-102. So we'll see how it ends up being. None of these games were close. When the Spurs won, it was a 12-point game. And the Memphis Grizzlies won twice double digits. Trend might stay the same tonight either way. And now we get to a real interesting matchup.
All right, here we go.
The real interesting matchup. The Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a very, very interesting matchup, man, because you have two players who have multiple championships on the team with Steph Curry and two star players with multiple championships, Steph Curry and LeBron James. And, for the most part, you can look and say, man, we can count on one of these guys being there in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean? The Golden State Warriors don't have the same depth or the same power. They don't have the same defense that the Los Angeles Lakers do. But this is just one night. Just one night. Just one game. Steph Curry gets hot and goes for 50. The Lakers could be in trouble. Same thing for the Lakers. If LeBron gets hot, has a magical game, AD or whatever, the Golden State Warriors could be in trouble. Either way, the Utah Jazz have something to deal with in that first round. Right? Well, the winner of this actually plays the Phoenix Suns. So I'm going to say the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz have something to deal with in that first round. Right? But this matchup here, then we'll get into and we'll talk about those matchups, the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz and who they could match up against. Isaiah, let's just look at the matchup between the two teams. When you talk about what they did during the regular season, you can't. This is really a game that you can't base anything because both teams dealt with injuries and all kinds of stuff. But just to take a look at it, January 18th, the Warriors won. They beat the Lakers 115-113. February 28th, the Lakers beat the Warriors 117-91. And then on March 15th, the Lakers beat the Warriors 128-97. What's your take on this? What's your take on it?
When during the summer after the finals, and the Board of Governors had to finally do a decision on the play-in tournament, staying or leaving, this game is going to be the reason why the play-in stays. This is the most perfect thing for the play-in for what the NBA wanted. This matchup, again, you have literally two defining Hall of Fame, legendary, top 15 players of all time going head-to-head. LeBron James, Stephen Curry. You can't ask for more. We really don't know who's going to win. Again, you have the Warriors that Steph Curry can literally go for 50 any day. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis trying to get back to where they were last year. Storylines are there, matchups there. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know who's going to win. And here's another thing, right? Here's another thing. If you're the Lakers or if you're the Lakers or Suns, you really want to get number two because I do believe both these teams feel like they can beat the Phoenix Suns. Now, I'm not going to lie. If you face the Utah Jazz in the first round, that might be a little too tough. But I'm telling you, they might be both aiming. They're going to play hard because getting that number two, I believe one of these teams, I think both these teams believe they can upset the Suns in a 7-game series. I really do.
I mean, I would think that they do believe so. Yeah, I would think that they believe that they can upset the Suns. I mean, doing it is something different, but I'm sure they believe that they can upset the Suns.
Yeah, I believe both of them believe. And to be honest with you, Sam, if the Lakers win, I'm going to be real. I think people are going to have the Lakers more favored than the Suns. Now, coming out the West, but if the Suns are Warriors, most likely it's more going to be the Suns, but that would probably still go to 7. This one right here, Sam, I don't know. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one, man.
Yeah. Josh?
I don't think this is going to be a good one at all. I think this is going to be a blowout going the Lakers' way, and here are my reasons why. Let's say, for argument's sake, Steph Curry cancels out LeBron James, right? Those two cancel each other out. And Andrew Wiggins, who's been playing really, really well, he's not putting up those same numbers he was putting up in his last year in Minnesota, but he's been, playing a good beta to Steph Curry's alpha. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that he cancels out Anthony Davis. Andre Drummond is the difference. Andre Drummond, guy can rebound the basketball. That's what killed us in the last game when we played the Lakers, rebounding. And I think with what's his face? Golden State center, the rookie, with him being injured, I think there's no chance for the Warriors to win that game against the Lakers. They play too much of a great defense that they play, and they also know how to rebound the basketball. So I think there's no chance that the Warriors win. I think the Warriors will make the 8th spot because I think they'll lose to the Lakers and beat either Memphis or San Antonio, but they have no chance of beating the Lakers tonight.
Okay.
LeBron James is not going out in the play-in type situation. His legacy is on the line. There's no way.
Okay. I do agree that the Lakers are going to win the game. I think they're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a battle. I do. I think it's going to be a battle. The Golden State Warriors have been there as well, and Steph Curry has his legacy that he wants to build. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be a really, really good basketball game. Really good game. It's going to be a battle. And I wouldn't put it past either one of these teams making it into the second round either. Big shout out to Sebastian Perez. He said, I'm a Celtics fan, but crazy the Knicks are the 4 seed. It is crazy that the Knicks are the 4 seed, man. It is crazy. But, Knicks fans, we're loving it. Trust me, we are loving it. All right, so that takes us to... Let's talk about the Jazz and the Suns really quick. All right, we'll start with the Suns because whoever wins that game versus the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors are playing the Suns in the first round. I'm sorry. Yes, are playing the Suns in the first round of the playoffs. All right, so that could be the Los Angeles Lakers playing the Suns. Isaiah, who do you have? Who do you have? That could be the Lakers playing the Suns. Who do you have?
If it's the Lakers and Suns?
If it is the Lakers, let's say it's the Los Angeles Lakers playing the Suns. Right? Because the number 7 seed.
I got Lakers in 6.
You got the Lakers beating the Suns in 6.
Yep.
That could very well be.
I'm gonna say like this. I'm gonna say like this. The Suns are rooting for the Warriors. They're rooting for the Warriors because I think that one's still gonna be tough. But they can beat the Warriors. They ain't beating the Suns. I mean, the Suns is not beating the Lakers. So if I'm the Suns, I'm looking for the Warriors to win. I hope they win.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. From the Suns are probably looking for the Warriors to win too. But I think the Warriors could actually beat the Suns.
No, see, but that's the thing. I believe, I'm telling you, that's why this is going to be a hard-fought match because I truly believe the Warriors and the Lakers, it's almost, I'm sure, Sam, they both know they can beat the Suns. They both know they can beat the Suns. That's why they're not trying to face the Jazz because I think the Jazz can actually beat the Lakers. I think the Jazz can beat the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Jazz can beat the Suns. I mean, can beat the Warriors. So that's why I say this is going to be a hard-fought match because nobody wants to face the Jazz. The Warriors, I mean, the Suns, you can beat them. They're beatable.
You don't think the Jazz are beatable?
Jazz will beat who?
Are beatable.
Who, that defense, Sam. That defense and the shooting, that is killer. And I think if you can neutralize AD with Gobert, and you just have everybody else on LeBron, I think the Jazz can win. I think it's going to be harder for the Lakers. If they do, that's going to be a Game 7. Jazz and Lakers will be going to Game 7.
What do you think, Josh?
I'll be right back, fellas.
I missed the question. What was that? I'm sorry.
So we were talking about if the Suns, if they have to play the Lakers, or if they have to play the Golden State Warriors. I think either one of those teams can beat the the Phoenix Suns.
I think the Lakers have the better chance than the Golden State Warriors because they just have too many pieces that are missing. I don't think Golden State's going to go too far in the playoffs. I think if they do get to the playoffs as a first round exit, no matter if they play Utah or Phoenix, I believe the Lakers definitely have the better matchup as far as Phoenix is concerned. I don't think the Suns are going to lose to Golden State, and they got too many weapons, and Golden State doesn't have that many, in my opinion.
Okay, all right. The Utah Jazz. Let's talk about the Utah Jazz. If the Utah Jazz, they may have to play, they could play anybody. But let's say that they Let's focus on the Warriors and the Lakers, though. Right? They could play San Antonio. They could play. They could play anybody. Right? But let's focus on the Warriors and the Lakers. If they played either one of these teams, who do you give it to?
I like Utah in both of those games.
Both of those.
I like, and either one of those games, I like Utah. Just for the simple fact, Utah is really sound offensively. They move the basketball really, really well. They have Gobert in the middle. He's Defensive Player of the Year, going to be Defensive Player of the Year. They play team defense, and they still have Donovan Mitchell, who is working his way to being a killer in this league. He is a killer. So I like Utah, no matter who they play. Out of those 4 teams in the play-in, I like Utah. And I think the Lakers give them the best shot because of their rebounding and the ability to play defense. But I'm gonna make a controversial one, and I'm gonna pick Utah against any one of those teams in the play-in.
Okay, all right. You know what? I mean, that's definitely going to be a matchup. However it works out, it's going to be a matchup. If the Utah Jazz have to play either Lakers or the Suns, which I think it will be one of those 2 teams, that's the reason why I have the Lakers or Suns up there. I don't think San Antonio or Memphis is going to get the 7th or 8th, or definitely not the 7th. Is going to get the 8th seed. I do think it's going to be either the Lakers or the Golden State Warriors who get that 8th seed. So I think those 2 teams are going to be 7 and 8. That's the reason why I have Utah. You can see at the bottom of the screen, it shows Utah versus one of those 2 guys, one of those 2 teams. You know, I think the Lakers could beat them. I don't know about you. I don't know about Golden State. I do think the Lakers could beat Utah, but Utah could also beat them. That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough matchup right there. Staying on the West Coast, you got the Blazers and the Nuggets. What's your thoughts on it? Blazers and Nuggets. Is it an easy one for the easy one?
I don't think it'll be easy. But again, I think Denver's one of those teams who were right there. They got the MVP. They got Jokic. And I just feel like he will be unstoppable. Combine that with the fact, I think this is a step up. This is a next level type of playoffs for Michael Porter Jr. I think he's going to step it up to the next level. And, Denver, I know they don't have Murray. I know they're really going to miss Murray coming this playoff time, but I think this is the time for Michael Porter Jr. to step up. And also don't forget about Aaron Gordon. They added Aaron Gordon at the trade deadline. So I think Denver's going to be really, really tough out. I don't think they'll get that far in the Western Conference, but I think in that first round series, they will beat Portland. I just think Damian Lillard doesn't have enough on his team. He really doesn't have enough on his team. And this might be another coach, Terry Stotts, whose job will be on the line. So I'm going Denver.
I'm definitely going Denver. There's no doubt about it. I don't think that I just don't think that Portland has enough. Even though Denver is not fully healthy, I just don't think Portland has enough to deal with the Denver Nuggets right now. Their offense is just strong. You know what I mean? And they know what they want to do. They know how to get it done. I know they're missing Jamal Murray, and that could be, that's gonna make it tough for them. There's no doubt about it. It's gonna make it tough. But I just don't see the Blazers having enough to be able to really compete, truly compete with them. So I'm definitely going Nuggets on that one right there. And then the next matchup, you got the Mavs and the Clippers.
This one's kind of tough for me because I feel like the Clippers have been underachieving for a while. They got Kawhi, they got PG, but they just for some reason can't get over that hump. I don't know what it is with those guys. I'm really not confident in the Clippers at all. But I hate to say it, but it looks like I'm going to pick Dallas to win that matchup over the Clippers.
Really?
Luka Doncic. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas. I know a lot of Knicks fans hate Porzingis and everything like that, but I just don't feel like the Clippers are it. The Clippers don't have any type of, to me, it's just something in that organization. I just keeping them from getting to that next level. It's a question of whether playoff Paul George is going to show up or not. You know what I'm saying?
you don't think that Kawhi Leonard is, I mean, after what happened last season, you don't think he's super motivated to get this victory? I don't know, man.
I think he's motivated, Sim, but there's something about the Clippers organization. I don't know, something about them. It's just I don't see that killer instinct in them like I was hoping they would have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I don't know. Something about that team is missing. Like that. Like you're not afraid of DeMar DeRozan. I'm not afraid of the Clippers. Like they don't scare me. I expected them to get to the Western Conference Finals last year, but they just straight up laid an egg. They just didn't perform. You know what I mean? So something about them, and they do have Rondo now. You know what I'm saying? They do have him at the point guard position. But I just don't know. Something about them. I don't see the pieces coming together in the playoffs. I just don't see it coming together.
But see, I tend to think that Kawhi Leonard is going to have the ability to shut down your buddy over there. Luka. I think Kawhi Leonard is going to be. I don't want to say shut him down, like just straight up shut him down. I don't want to say it that way. So I don't want to be negligent, right? But I think I think he's going to give Luka fits when they decide to put him. When they decide to put Kawhi on Luka, I think it's going to give him fits, and I don't know if he's going to be able to. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with it. And then KP. Are you really counting on KP?
As people be sleeping on Porzingis. I know he's been hurt a lot, you know what I'm saying, but he's still a matchup nightmare. The guy can shoot. He's 7'3", can shoot from the outside. I don't think there's anybody on the Clippers that can really guard him, to be honest. He definitely needs to show up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's this all-world player and everything like that, but the kid is still talented, in my opinion. And I just feel like it's redemption time for him. It's redemption time for him since he's left the Knicks. You know what I mean? So, and he definitely played well in the playoffs last season. You know what I mean? Don't sleep on Kristaps Porzingis. I know Knicks fans hate him, but I think Porzingis he's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll show up in this playoffs.
Well,
Knicks fans don't like it, but it's the truth. He showed up last season. He did. And who did they play in the playoffs last year? I don't even remember who they played. They played the Clippers. It was the Clippers. Morris, the twin.
They did play the Clippers last year, right? The Clippers eliminated them. Because the Clippers went out in what round did the Clippers go out in?
The second round. They went out in the second round against Denver.
They went out in the second round against Denver. Now, so they did put up a fight, right? They did put up a fight. There's no doubt about that. They put up a fight. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't believe in the Mavs as much as you believe in the Mavs, I guess.
I don't believe in the Clippers.
Yes, I don't know. I get it. I understand why you don't believe in the Clippers, but who's their coach? Tyronn
Lue. Yep.
I get it. It's hard for me to argue with you on that point right there. Very hard for me to argue with you on that. I guess we're gonna see when it comes down to it, man. Let's get back over to the East Coast, all right? Because those are the matchups in the West Coast. Let's get back over to the East Coast, and we'll start. We're kind of going around in a circle here. We're gonna start with the Heat Bucks, then we'll get to the Knicks and the Hawks, right? And then after the Knicks and the Hawks, we're gonna get to the play-in, to the play-in stuff. All right. So Heat Bucks, and they just played not too long ago. What's your take there?
So of course in the Eastern Conference, everything is going to be about matchups. I don't believe Giannis was that much of a playoff performer. He's a good regular season performer, but come playoff time, he tends to come up short. Same with Middleton, just always coming up short in the playoffs. In Miami, they went to the finals last year. You know what I'm saying? I can't count out Miami. I think that'd be a really, really close series, a real close series. I think Spoelstra has a game plan out there to guard Giannis. But I think Milwaukee will come away with that series. So I'm going to say Milwaukee and 6. Milwaukee in 6 games.
You know, I actually think Miami's going to beat them. I think Miami just has more grit than Milwaukee. I think they just have way more grit. And, you know, the defense that they're going to be able to play on the Bucks, to me, you know, everybody kind of knows the blueprint. Giannis still isn't shooting the ball. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. Obviously, it's going to be a tough matchup, you know, because, you know, you're playing a championship caliber team, I guess. I don't know if they're a championship caliber team, but I think the defense is going to be, I think Miami's defense is going to be able to shut them down. And you got a guy, in my opinion, in Jimmy Butler that you can put him on. I mean, look, Giannis is Giannis, right? Giannis is Giannis, but I think he can give Giannis some fits. And I don't know. I think Miami might be able to take that series. I just don't believe. I don't think that Milwaukee is as good as they were. Whenever, you know, a season ago. I don't think they're as good as they were even a season ago. And I don't think that even though Miami maybe this season wasn't as good, I still think that they have that something, that grit, that will that I don't think the Bucks have. That's why I think Miami takes them out. I just don't think that the Bucks have that kind of will. And if they take them out, in my opinion, if they take them out, then you might see some, you might see some real changes with the Bucks. I think they take them out if Miami takes them out in the first round. And I think that they can take them out in the first round. I don't think this is a typical 3-6 matchup, in my opinion. Not at all. I don't think it's a typical one. And then if they take them out, I'm assuming if they take them out, I'm assuming that then you're looking the next Miami would be the 6th seed, so that if Philadelphia, it would be a little bit weird, right? Let's say Miami beats Milwaukee and Philadelphia gets past their first round matchup, then Philadelphia would play Miami, assuming that the Knicks took care of business, or well, it doesn't even matter if the Knicks took care of business. Philadelphia would play Miami, and then the Knicks would play probably Brooklyn. And that cornball over there. So let's go ahead and let's get to the Knicks and Miami Heat. First time since 2013 that the Knicks have been in the playoffs. Since 2013. Clinched the 4th seed. Has been a magical season. But the Atlanta Hawks, they've had a turnaround season as well. Just like the New York Knicks. They've had a turnaround season. Whichever way it goes, in that second round, there's going to be a young team that hasn't been there in a while, with some young players that are kind of upstarts. This is, listen, any of the matchups that the Knicks were going to have to face were going to be tough. Either be Atlanta, Milwaukee, or Miami. They were going to be tough. Facing Atlanta, they have I don't like their style of offense. I don't like the Knicks playing teams with this style. I know the Knicks beat them 3-0 during the regular season, but both teams suffered a lot of injuries. I don't think you can hold any water with it at all. I'm going with the New York Knicks, though. I'm not counting my team out. I'm going with the Knicks, and we're underdogs right now. Although we're the 4th seed, we're still underdogs.
Are we? I thought we were favorites in that series.
I think we're underdogs. If I seen correctly, I think I seen us as being underdogs. But what is your take on this series?
So I agree with everything you said. Although we did beat them 3 times, it's still going to be a tough matchup. Once again, Trae Young with that screen and roll, it's going to be extremely deadly. I'm interested to see what Tom Thibodeau has in store to guard that. If we're still going to, play it the same way we've been playing it the entire season. Also, rebounding the front court. Clint Capella is a beast on the glass. We got to be able to limit him from grabbing all the rebounds. I believe Todd Gibson and Nerlens Noel are going to do an excellent job of doing that. Julius Randle's going to show up. I think the biggest key for us is going to be R.J. Barrett. Is R.J. Barrett going to show up in the playoffs? That's who I think the biggest key for the Knicks is as far as personnel is concerned. R.J. Barrett. If R.J. Barrett comes out and averages his 20 points and for this entire series, I believe the Knicks win in 6 games. If not less than that, I believe they win in 5. I really, really like the Knicks in this matchup. I don't think the Hawks defense is that good. We struggle against teams with really good defenses, obviously, because we obviously have had some trouble scoring the basketball, but that's trending upward. Our offense is trending upward. We're getting timely shots from Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock, even quickly coming off the bench, giving us some scoring, added scoring. And I don't believe the Hawks defense is just that good against us. So I'm picking the Knicks to win this in 6 games, if not even sooner than that.
Okay. And I do think Tom Thibodeau is going to have some crazy defensive schemes against the Hawks. I am worried about that screen and roll with Trae Young and Clint Capella. That's one of the biggest things I'm worried about with this team. The offensive rebounding of Clint Capella. I'm worried about that. And, of course, they got some guys that can shoot from the outside as long as they're healthy. So it can be, it could be tough. We'll see how it's going to work out. Obviously, I'm going with the New York Knicks. And we're going to break this down further, ladies and gentlemen. You can go to my scheduled videos and you'll see, I have it scheduled for us to, break down the overall matchup tomorrow night. Then we're going to look at lineups. Then we're going to look at strategy. We're really going to go in depth with this matchup here. All right, so be tuned to it. Go check out my scheduled videos and make sure you set a reminder to let you know to check us out then. All right. And I want to say a big shout out to Coach Thibodeau for being named Coach of the Month in the Eastern Conference. All right. Now, he's not going to be, he's not going to win Coach of the Year. Monty Williams is winning Coach of the Year. All right. But big shout out to Tom Thibodeau for that. I tend to think that the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau should have won Coach of the Year. I think that the Knicks Phoenix made a big jump. They did, but I feel like Tom Thibodeau did more but less than Phoenix, than Monty Williams did. But hey, what can you do? It is what it is. Put another chip on our shoulder and let's rock with it. But I'm going with the Knicks over the Hawks. Now, let's go to Brooklyn. Well, actually, no. We'll go to Philly first. Let's go to Philly. All right, because the Philadelphia 76ers are either going to be playing the Boston Celtics or the Washington Wizards. I tend to think that the Wizards are going to win and beat the Boston Celtics. Right, so they'll get the 7th seed, and then the Celtics. So I got this a little bit mixed up, I guess. The Nets would either be playing the Washington Wizards or the Nets would be playing either the Washington Wizards or the Boston Celtics right out the gate. So let me change this up for just 1 second. All right, so the Philadelphia 76ers actually are going to be playing either the Celtics, the Wizards, the Hornets, or the Indiana Pacers. I don't see any of those teams really giving Philadelphia a problem. Maybe the Wizards. All right, the Boston Celtics can compete, I think. I think they can compete with them, and I think the Wizards can compete with them, but I don't have either one of those teams giving them a problem. Do you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I just, they got a lot of firepower. You got Joel Embiid down there who's almost impossible to stop. they almost got a bye to the second round, in my opinion. You still got to play the games, though. You never know what can happen, right? Russell Westbrook is on a tear. And I know people are looking to say, but, so you think the Wizards can give the Brooklyn Nets more competition than the 76ers? Yes, and the reason why is because
defense.
The 76ers can play defense. They can play defense. The Brooklyn Nets haven't shown that there can be a real strong defensive team, and the Wizards can score. So, yeah, that's why I give them a chance to taking out the Brooklyn Nets.
Philly has two guys on the wing, and Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle, who are Defensive Player of the Year candidates.
Yeah,
that's insane. Insane.
Exactly. So I got Philadelphia, whoever they play, getting out of it, going to the second round. I tend to think, I feel like the Wizards are going to be in that second seed, and then it's going to be between Boston, Charlotte, and Indiana, and it's hard for me to say who. I do think Charlotte might beat Indiana, and it might be Charlotte and Boston playing for that 8th seed, and we'll see what it comes down to. Now, for the Brooklyn Nets, they're either going to be playing the Washington Wizards or the Boston Celtics. They'll find out tonight who they're playing. I think it's going to be the Washington Wizards, and as you said earlier, we had this discussion. I think the Washington Wizards can really give the Brooklyn Nets a go for it. And I think it's going to be tough. You know what I mean? I'd go with the Nets over both of these teams, but I do think the Wizards are going to make it tough on the Brooklyn Nets. If it ends up being the Wizards playing them.
Tough meaning end game, or you think as far as wins and losses are concerned? Because I think Brooklyn will win that in 5, if not 4. But I think the games will be much competitive.
I think the Wizards. I don't know. I think the Wizards might be able to get 2. And then we'll see. I think they might be able to get 2. Because I think it's going to take a series. I have Brooklyn winning, but I think it's going to take a series for the Brooklyn Nets to really find it. You know what I mean? Because they've been so much in and out. Towards the end of the season, they start getting healthy. But I think it's going to take a series.
I just don't see, I think, because they have Westbrook and Bill, I think they'll be competitive in the series. But as far as firepower is concerned, outside of those two guys on DC, I don't know who else they got that's going to go out and give them 20 points. Is it going to be Hachimura? Is it going to be Davis Bertans, who it should be, who they gave the money to in the offseason, but he hasn't been showing up this season? Is it going to be the rookie? You know what I mean? So I just don't know who that other scoring is going to come from.
I get it.
I do think with Westbrook's play, he'll always get everybody involved. Make sure everyone gets a chance to touch the basketball. And he's going to get his triple-double. Bill's going to put up his 30. But outside of that, I don't know where the rest of the scoring is going to come from. And against Brooklyn, you have to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, we will. We will definitely see. Ladies and gentlemen, in about 20 minutes, it kicks off. Playoff season is officially here. Even though the play-in tournament isn't included, it kicks off. So I'm going to give you some time to go get your food, sit back, relax, start watching these games, ladies and gentlemen. These Charlotte Hornets and the Indiana Pacers, they play at 6:30, and I believe, what is it on? It is on TNT.
Both games on TNT.
It's on TNT. Charlotte Hornets versus the Indiana Pacers at 6:30 on TNT. And the Washington Wizards versus the Boston Celtics at 9 p.m. on TNT. Make sure you check it out. Tomorrow night, we're going to really get in and start focusing on the New York Knicks and breaking down this first round series. So make sure you're there with me, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. And I'm out. Josh, any last things you want to say?
Go Knicks. And Thibodeau didn't get robbed.
Oh, boy. I don't know about that one. I think he got robbed.
He deserved it, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think he got robbed.